Hey,
Hey.
so today we're going to talk about, we left off um, talking about Tyler's graduation.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to talk about how after all the events that we talked about with his graduation, the paranoia, him being angry, had triggered so many things. He said, you know what he said? You know what this man said? This man said, I can't be like this, baby. Like, this has been so stressful. I don't want to live my life stressed out like this. I don't want to be triggered. I don't want to go through, I want to get some help. So I'm like, things like that make me fall more in love with him because you can just be the way you are. This is anybody. Forget the mental illness. You could be the way that you are and accept it and say, this is who I am, and I ain't gonna worry about it. But to go to extra step and say, I want to get some help for this, and actually put the work in, that's so attractive. It's so attractive.
Wow, I didn't know you were attracted to
You knew that. I tell you
somebody
that.
that was struggling with paranoia. So paranoia turns you on? Nah. Yeah, I wanted some help. I was stressed out, paranoid,
That was a hell of a summer. To say the
angry.
least. That summer was something else. Okay?
Did we talk about? Now I know we talking about the recovery aspect, but we're about to talk about that. But let's talk about. We did talk about me going to the hospital and that anger I had.
Yes.
We touched on
about
that?
We talked about that. We talked about all
That's
the stuff
really
at the
important.
hospital.
That's really
and the
important.
process of this, we wasn't married yet. So
Yeah.
I'm still trying to plan this wedding. And the process
We planning a wedding. I'm in the hospital. Police coming to my house, taking my son away. That's the worst feeling in the world. But you know, I was just talking to my therapist today, and she was just talking to me about stress. And after I thought about my life, when I first had my nervous breakdown, it made me realize something.
What?
I think I made myself sick.
I can see that.
You know why? Because see, I didn't think about mental health before I was diagnosed. I didn't think about it. Had I had knowledge about stress and me having a genetic predisposition, I probably would have moved different. But see, when I had my nervous breakdown, I was in the Air Force, working a regular job in the Air Force. I had a mobile car wash. I washed cars when I got out of work on the weekends and after work. I was going to school, got 2 associate degrees, and I was building a house, and I got married, and I had a baby on the way. I had all that stress.
Yeah.
So stress can trigger mental illness, apparently. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and in this time frame, you know, that we talking about, I was under a lot of stress,
Yeah,
emotion.
just released a book.
The book came out. I was paranoid, like we talked about.
We were planning a wedding.
Planning a wedding.
Tyler's situation.
Tyler being taken away. That was troublesome. That was really bad for me because I love my son so much, and I think the depth of my love is because of the fact that I didn't have a father, and I yearned for my father. So I think I wanted to protect my son from feeling that I wasn't in his life. I didn't want him to feel what I felt. So I think that's why it's so emotional for me. So any hint of his mother restricting it, it just takes me to another place. And I think in this instance, it did that, and it triggered the paranoia and the anger, et cetera, and I was in a hospital. But like Shauna said, I had made a decision.
He said, he came back and was like, he woke up one day and was like, baby, I need help. Like, I don't want to live with this anger. I don't want to walk around like this. I want to be okay. I want to take it to the next level because he was already going through therapy. Right?
Yeah, I was going with my therapist.
Yeah, he was.
But I wasn't in a recovery program.
Right, he was already going. But my point is that you was already going to see a therapist. So
yeah.
He was trying. So his effort always just was like, wow, you about to go to a recovery program, like an actual program, a couple days a week. Like, 3 days?
Yeah, it was 3 days. But the key word that she just said was effort. I was telling her I think yesterday that God blesses your effort. So you can have faith, but what about your works? And I think in this instance, my works was getting help and realizing that I can't do anything else now. I was taking my medication, I was getting my therapy, but I still couldn't handle stressors.
Exactly.
And I couldn't function. So the problem, I guess, for me, like even with when I was with Shauna, when I had the first breakdown with her, they put me into some type of intensive program where they had to come to the house because they said you had too many breakdowns within the last 2 years. I was in the hospital so much, and they said we have to like really watch you because you had a lot of nervous breakdowns. And typically, people don't go through as many as I did. I went through a lot of them, and I think I'm dealing with the effects of it. Like some of the effects that I believe because of nervous breakdowns, because I was told that when you have nervous breakdown, you lose functioning in your brain. And I could definitely attest to it because I could see the difference between when I read books. I could see the difference between when my memory. I could see the difference between how I move, my energy levels. And I do take a lot of medication, but I see the cognitive difference because I used to be able to read a book in a day. Now it takes me a long time. And I think it's because the brain is not moving like it used to. So I think over a period of time, and I'm not complaining about it, I just understand it. And I'm going to accept it. I'm going to accept it.
So
yeah, I'm going to accept it.
That part of him saying that he wants to go into this intensive recovery, okay, he also was a veteran. We talked about that already. So he has, the VA has so many programs available to him.
I went through all of them.
To use them was like, I was just so proud in that moment. Now, I didn't know what they was going to show him. I didn't know what was going to happen. But to make the step to be committed, because when he say he wants to do something, he's committed to it. So I knew that he was going to go. It wasn't going to be say, man, you better go to this program. He's going to do it. So for him to commit to that, I was very, very proud, not even knowing the outcome of it, but just to say that he's going to go.
And some of the programs it basically works like this. It's like when you go to the psych ward, they put you in the psych ward and they give you a doctor, a psychiatrist, and then they give you a psychologist to talk to. Then they give you mental health technicians. Then they also give you interns, and then they have residents, etc. So you work with a whole team. So what they do is they determine what your needs are. And one day, I was walking on the psych ward, and there was a doctor. I know his name, Dr. Corpix. He's a white gentleman, and most of the doctors are white. I think I only saw one black psychiatrist that was a resident, but everybody's usually Caucasian, but they're really nice people. I met a lot of nice people. But this doctor, I was walking, and I was talking, because I like to talk to him. I like to
talk to everybody.
I like to get information.
He is very, very, very talkative.
I am, very. And that's how you get information. So what I did was I was walking past Dr. Corpix, and Dr. Corpix said, I think you should consider PRRC. I said, what's that? He said, you need to look into it. So he put that in my mind. That's how I actually got the information out. Usually in my experience of going to the psych ward, like when I'm homeless, they'll tell me to go to a rehabilitation program. They call it NAS-South. They say, you need to go to NAS-South. Okay, that's a dual diagnosis program, people with mental illness and addiction. So I'll do that for like 45 days. And while you're there, they'll try to figure out where you're going to go next. So one time I went to a homeless program in North Chicago, almost in Waukegan. And in that program, they taught you about mindfulness and coping skills. And in that program, it was different from the other ones. But they were kind of similar. Some of them help you deal with social issues, like a social worker might work with you more intensely to work on different things. Then they might say, well, you need to focus on this, your basics, and budgeting your money, and work on your health. Look at your cholesterol, look at this. So they help you with so many different things in different programs. So I went to all those, and then going to a day program where you go outpatient. You just go and you come back home. Some of them you go and you stay. So I did all of them, but PRC I never heard about. And PRC wasn't residential, it was outpatient. Well, when I tell you, I learned the best information that I have ever. In fact, that's the reason why I wrote the book, The Mental Health Bible, The Recovery Made in America, because this book, I gathered so much knowledge and information about coping skills, emotions management, marijuana, relaxation, healthy relationships, being assertive, communication skills, compassion. Learned about how to sleep. I mean, I learned about so many things, even forgiveness and reconciliation. And those are really tough topics. And so when I went to this program, I was so amazed. I was so impressed.
I was so amazed. The things that he would come home and tell me, how excited he was about going, and techniques to use in those uncomfortable moments. He actually used them.
I did. And I was in a program for about, a year and a half, almost 2 years. And I went and like, while I was in the program, what they do is they talk to you before you start the program. They say, they give you this questionnaire, ask you these questions, and they say, what do you want to work on? And I say something like anger. I want to work on my anger. I want to work on my relationships. Because being bipolar with, type 1 with psychotic features, it's hard for you to really function with people. And the military knows that. So the VA actually wrote me a letter telling me that I have a problem socializing with people, and that's a part of my disability. So it's a real thing. So when I went in this program, they're teaching me how to function in a world with people. So they had to teach me how to communicate, being assertive and not aggressive or passive. They taught me how to have assertiveness, being able to say what you mean and not saying it mean, and allowing both parties to get their needs met. The forgiveness part was very important for me. But they said just because you forgive don't mean you need to reconcile. They taught me about emotions, namely triggers. They taught me about mindfulness, which is very important. I think that was one of the most important pieces to the puzzle. Very important. They taught me about self-compassion and dealing with who I am and being self-aware. And I think the mindfulness part is about being self-aware.
So this is the funny part. He come home and tell me these things about what he was going through and how it was helping him. But the things that he used on me helped me because he was always a better communicator than me. I would hold things in and just be upset. And his methods that they gave him, he used on me, and it helped me communicate. It helped me express myself and tell him how I feel about things when I'm angry instead of just...
It really did help.
And so I was really grateful for that, because I think that he thinks to this day that he was my therapist.
I was.
But he's not.
Yes, I am. I just don't get paid for it. But...
You don't get paid for it?
I don't. Anyway, the more to the story is, what's very interesting about Shauna and I is that we both had prophecies saying that we will be healing and deliverance ministers. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So now that we've gone through this process, I feel that we have accumulated skills. Now I'm still working on some things. Especially this anger. See, this anger issue that I have will be a barrier between me and people close. It's the people that's close to me that trigger me, and I think that's typically the case. You really don't get triggered by people you don't care about, typically. But I get triggered sometimes by a stranger, so it doesn't matter sometimes. But if I don't get the anger in control, it's gonna cause a problem. So we definitely trying to manage that as best as possible. And that's something that I work with my doctors about, talk to them about, because I really want to understand. I want to be calm. I want to be, relaxed. I want to be able to respond and think before I act. Those are the things, those are my goals.
But even the baths, I remember him having a rough day.
Man.
He used to take The baths will help him, meditating, the music. These are all skills that can help you.
Chess. I played chess.
He played chess.
That's therapy.
It's just so many things that he wasn't using before that in those moments help calm him down. And I think that everybody could use it. I don't think it's just for him, for anybody that's struggling with mental illness. It's for anybody. So I think those things were like really good. Like when I tell you the things that he talked about, the things that he made me, the questions that he asked me, the classes were like amazing, and it helped us and it changed our lives.
It really did. I'm so grateful.
And it brought us closer together.
It did.
Because through the classes, it helped him see things and separate things clearer. Like, why?
It is cognitive behavioral therapy, by the way. That means you're thinking. So that's what it does.
So it put things in categories that helped us, like, as a couple. And our relationship got better because of him taking those classes. It made him a better person. And when he see it, when he see it coming up, he's like, you know what? I see this. I know what this is. You know?
Right.
You recognize it.
Especially your triggers.
Right.
Yeah, recognize. What's very important is that you understand your triggers. Everybody got different triggers, and everybody don't have a mental illness, but we all do have to manage our mental health.
Right.
So that's very important to note. I think that going through this journey and getting the level of care that I received, it made me love my country in a way that I never loved my country.
You appreciated it.
I appreciate it because if it wasn't for the military and if it wasn't for the VA, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be functioning. I wouldn't be in recovery. And I used to feel very seditious when it came to politics and all that. But now I have this special place in my heart because I feel like I owe them for what they did for my life. And now it's kind of like I look like, well, I need to help people now. Not that I didn't want to help people before. I did want to help people before. I did want to help all black people and help them, be liberated economically, spiritually, emotionally, etc. But now I'm thinking about all people. And I'm saying it because, being in those programs, I saw black and white people. I saw all races. And
they were friends.
And I became friends with
right.
it's a lot of veterans, from all walks of life, dealing with all circumstances. So I got a chance to build bonds with people that were not from my race. And I understand that we have a race issue, but with mental health, I think this is a human issue. It's not just a black issue. It's something that we all need to maintain. Even the racist white people need mental health. In fact, I think racism is a mental health issue. It probably should be a diagnosis. But if we understand it, then maybe we can be aware of it and treat it and help people recover from it. Because a lot of it is passed down from generation, your environment, your information, and you cannot change a belief without new information. So I think the mental health information that we're trying to provide has the sole intent and purpose of helping you change your belief system about mental health. At least that's what mine is. I'm not sure what your motivation is, but I think I want to help you.
I could talk about that all day.
Well, I'm sure you could. I know you got a lot to say, and that's the whole purpose of us doing this. By any means, interject. You've had no problem with doing it. But
stop it.
No, but you haven't. But I'm gonna tell you something for real. If you don't find your purpose in life, you're not living. And I think the purpose that I found in life was to help people with mental health issues because I had so many of them.
Right.
So it's personal for me.
It's personal for me too.
So
it's very personal. Living with every day. My husband, I see, and it's not no reflection of nothing. I see the help that he needs to have that support. It was so important, not just me, the hospital, the doctors. People don't have that. And to see somebody that's loyal, supporting him, which is me, it made a difference for him. And I want everybody to know that. Like, you have to stick in there. And it's tough at times. But he makes it easier because of the help. And it's still tough at moments. But if I can imagine all the things that he does to make sure that he's okay, him not doing that, And I know what we hear all the time is people don't want to do that. It's even hard for people to take their medicine. And that's like a start. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that it's a battle for people. I understand that it's not easy. But I just want people not to give up on people. I always say that, and anytime I talk to people that's dealing with it, I be like, let's don't give up on them. And I know it's easier said than done, but they really need a support. They need somebody that's going to be there.
The supporters need a support.
Agreed.
The people, the parents, the husbands, the wives, the children, they need support dealing with a person mentally ill because it's very stressful and it's emotional.
It's emotional.
It's draining.
It's draining. It's emotional. It's very emotional.
Because you're dealing with fear. You know, people don't know what you're going to do at any given moment. They don't know what your mental status is going to be or what you're going to do in terms of your behavior. It's just like a lot of worry and anxiety.
I don't have fear as much. I don't have fear.
Well, I take my medicine and do the work, so you don't have to really.
Right. I don't have.
But
fear.
when you don't take medicine, people have fear of what's going to happen. Because they're not taking medicine, they're not going to the doctor. So it's fear, especially see everybody. So I always say this to make people feel comfortable. I say, well, everybody don't have to take medicine. I've yet to meet a bipolar who don't take medicine, who don't have to take it, who really need to take it. I met people who don't take it, but I have never met a bipolar or schizophrenic who the doctor says you don't have to take it. I never met one. I'm sure there are some out there, and I do this generally just to kind of not offend you, push medicine. But the point is, family members deal with the fact that the person may not want to take this medicine. In that instance, they may feel like they worry about them. They're concerned, overly concerned, because they know that this person needs to take medicine, but they're not taking it. That's a natural fear.
It is.
And a lot of people are dealing with that.
And they always ask me that. They always say, like, how do you get them? And I don't have an answer because I don't know what it is to get somebody to take some medicine.
It's hard. It's tough. It's
and
really
he
tough.
Went years on and off before me to taking it and not taking it.
Yep, I took the medicine when I got diagnosed. I didn't want to take it. It took me 8 years to take medicine for real. I was on and off. In 2012, I was taking it consistently. And then I stopped for about a week or so in 2016. Then I got right back on it because I started having issues. But you know, I really don't play with that medicine because I see the effect of it. Some of it, it has negative aspects, but I'm gonna tell you something. When I went to the hospital that last time, when the police came and took my son from me, I'm interested. It's interesting that I could say that and not be mad. Wow. So when they came and took my son from me, and I was paranoid and angry in the hospital, they put me on some new medication, some paranoia medication. They put me on a paranoia medication, and the paranoia medication helped take away some things, and I saw the change.
The paranoia medicine.
It was amazing.
That was amazing. Okay.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That paranoia, because we talked about how paranoid he was. Like that's real, huh?
No,
so
it's real.
We talked about that, but when I say it changed, it really brought him back stable in his mind about being fearful about other people that he don't know, and it really brought it back. Like that was amazing. I have seen, really. Okay, let me tell you something. It's been 3 years since we've been together. They have changed his medicine a couple times since we've been together. I have seen, like, if he needs to go to the hospital, how the medicine changes him. Like, they fix him.
Quick.
Like, he goes in the hospital and they give him some, or mix it, change something together, and he come back like,
I don't know how they do that.
Like my baby. I was like, yes. So, but getting him there sometimes
it's hard.
It's hard. Okay?
I remember one time
when he needs to go.
My doctor was like, he's like, I was in his office. I was like, I need to go to the hospital. He was like, yeah, you have no choice. Something like that. Like, yes, like, you need to go. And now I'm seeing him on an appointment. And he like, you need, and he never tells me to go to the psych ward. My outpatient psychiatrist. But at that point, he was like, you need to go. I was asking all the questions like, why I gotta go?
And
like,
that time
I'm fighting
you
it.
and trying to tell you to go. Me and Bernadette,
Yeah, Bernadette was telling me to go. Oh, y'all don't know who she is. She was my social worker, my psychologist, and she was telling me.
And I went with him trying to get him to tell him to go, and he was so angry. And he ended up going like a week later, I think, a couple days.
I did go, and I needed to go
because he had to go.
I was paranoid. I was seeing 2 people.
Yeah, he asked what the 2 of me.
I thought it was 2 of her, 2 of my kids.
And I said, "You going? You going?"
It's surreal.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, we went to I dropped you off at the hospital.
Yeah, I went and
he came back better. I was like, they fixed you.
Yeah, and that was around my birthday, right?
Yes.
That was in 2018. 18. Yeah, that was 2000. That was 2019. 2019. Yeah. That was around my birthday. So I've been in the hospital. You know, I never been to the hospital this much. I think Shauna is she stressed me out too. So
how could I?
She have been a good supporter, but she's a human too. So she got her own needs and wants, and I wasn't able, I guess, to give her those needs and wants when she needed them. So she had issues with it, and you know, we argued, and I had a level of stress there, and just dealing with that.
It was so
but
small.
it was. Man,
I
told her one time, I said, I think you're gonna kill me. I'm gonna have a heart attack, something, cause it's stressful. We was arguing, we was fighting. It was the normal relationship stuff plus the other stuff. It was hard. It was hard on her too. It was hard. I think it was worse for me cause I'm so emotional. And so I'm feeling everything. Right. If we argue, talking about we ain't gonna be together no more, and I gotta get out, I'm homeless. I'm dealing with all this. It's like, So we went through, it was real. It's a real struggle, real moments, man, you gotta have some strength. Everybody gotta be strong.
I could write a book on your
hey, write the book.
I could write a book on you.
I'm not trying to talk about, I'm not saying,
I understand.
I'm just saying it's real. Like, that's a real conversation.
It is. Relationships are hard, period.
And I remember, like, when we first got together, I was telling her, you know, she wanted to have sex a lot. And I was like, you know, I wasn't in the mood, nor did I have no energy for it. And I was on a lot of medicine. And I had to tell her, like, hey, look, my mental health is my main concern.
Why you?
Remember I said that?
Mm-hmm.
I had to tell her, like, she had a tantrum. She sitting in the chair naked. Tell my son, you need to touch me. And I'm in a bed doped up. I'm like, come on, man. I just got out the hospital. You see I'm sleeping 12 hours a day. But she still got her needs. But she didn't understand.
I did.
She didn't really understand it. So I had to be strong and overlook it.
And I had to be strong and endure it.
You did.
Overlook and endure.
So we both had to fight. It was real. And I think a lot of times, you know, in those are moments where people would stop taking their medicine. Because my medicine was affecting my sex drive. It was affecting my energy. It was affecting, but I could not take it because my nervous breakdowns can be a little scary for me. You know what I'm saying? I'd be in a different zone. So
memory and everything.
Memory,
but
paranoia.
We made it through that.
We made it through a lot.
And now we have our coping skills.
We got coping skills.
And
I haven't been in the hospital in a year and a half.
That's amazing.
So that's a testimony.
I looked at his track record. Boy, he was in the hospital every other month.
I know. Yeah, every other month. I was living in the psych ward. Everybody knew me. They used to give me the biggest room. I had a suite.
And why are you so happy about that?
I used to be chill. I used to read. All I did was read. I was reading the
he
Bible,
was
playing chess. I used to kick it on the psych ward.
And he could read all the books in the book.
I had a lot of friends on the psych ward. I had some pretty good friends. I had some really good friends. I had some friends. They saw me all the time. They probably still coming in and out of there.
Probably.
Yeah, I was in and out of there for a long time, but thank God I'm free. If you want to tune in to these books, check them out. Go to bipolarpreacher.com. Tune in to the radio show, WVON 1690 AM every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. And we live, breathe mental health, where we will help you get your mind right. And this is Shauna and Chuck. And we're going to sign out.
All right. Bye.
See y'all.